Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another trade recap. In today's trade recap, we ended up taking two trades. One was a loss and one was a win. Again, yeah, let's just kind of hop right into it. Let me open up my journal here for you guys. Boom. Okay, so good morning, everyone. There is no really draw liquidity on the day. We ended up taking previous day high, and I can see the draw being a 30 open low. Again, we ended up taking previous day high. We put in a bearish SMT with previous day high. The only thing, but 830 is opening lower. The only thing I can see happening is price trading into this gap and then delivering higher to that 830, and then maybe higher or lower. I don't know from there. Okay, so that was my draw liquidity. Okay, for the morning. What the price ended up doing, we ended up not tapping into the gap. We ended up tapping only into this 15-minute. I want to see this one. Again, especially off 930, I want to see an open low and then us trade higher. Price ended up just mitigating 830 and then going right back down. So I didn't get any entry for longs. And again, I do not want to be shorting the market unless the market tells me where we, like, literally tells me, and it makes it undeniably clear that we want to go lower. Okay. So again, price ended up displacing lower. I didn't take anything here. Again, now let's hop in where I wanted to take a trade. Okay. One more candle here. Boom. So, not yet. It's not. Okay. So as you can see here, this is a 15-minute for value gap. Once the next candle opens, this is going to be a 15-minute for value gap, and the next candle will also be 10 a.m. opening price. So at this point in time, I want to see 10 a.m. open lower, sweep this internal low, and I want to see ES come in and sweep London low, and then potentially mitigate this weekly opening price like we did here. Okay, and then I can take some longs to this 15-minute for value gap. Another reason why I felt like that was such a clean draw on liquidity here was due to the fact that we left these equal highs. I felt like this was just so undeniably clear that we left those equal highs. So I was like, oh my god, like if we can just go lower here and then go higher, again, we will have a sweep of this low, bullish SMT with that London session low, weekly opening price is getting mitigated. This is so A plus 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 plus. I'm willing to put some good risk on this table on a Monday. But what did price end up doing here? So price initially put in this bullish SMT before, again, as soon as 10 a.m. open. So this is London lows. We put in this bullish SMT, and I was like, damn, like now we have an SMT with London lows. I feel like I was like, damn, this kind of sucks because like now the long that I want to take is no longer an opportunity to take, right? What can we potentially take here, right? So we tap into this 15-minute. Now, what can I look for? And I was like, okay, 10 a.m. is opening higher. We left equal lows. I don't want to force a trade, but again, I see price potentially going lower because, again, I still, at this point in time, price hasn't mitigated the weekly opening price yet on ES. So to me, I was like, this is still, again, bearish, very bearish. ES and NQ. We have this huge SMT. 10 a.m. is opening higher. So let me just open up the 30-second chart here for you guys so you guys can take a look. So right here, I ended up initially taking, there was a 30-second inversion here. So again, I waited for this entire range to get invalidated. The entire range, again, discount got invalidated. Again, we're way too deep, so I'm waiting for it to tap back in. With this bearish change in state of delivery, I entered off this short here, plus this is 10 a.m. opening price, so this is where I set my limit order, right around here. As you can see, it says 155.5. What is this line right here? 155.5. Okay, and it's exactly in equilibrium of the entire range. We're coming into this. This is a shorting opportunity. Again, we have equal lows. This looks clean. Okay, but at this point in time, if I go one more candle here, this down close candle ended up mitigating the weekly opening price. So I was like, I still believe NQ still takes this low. Again, I don't believe we'll go down here, but that is a one-to-one trade. I don't mind taking it. It's undeniably clear. 10 a.m. is opening higher into a 15-minute for a value gap, but invalidating the entire range. We again coming to the opening price. I'm shorting this. I end up getting stopped out on this trade, and I was surprised that I got stopped out. So like at first I was like, bro, there's no way I got stopped out. But then I was evaluating. I was like, okay, well, we have weekly opening price. It sucks. I still believe the draw is here, because I just don't think this is ready yet to go long. Again, the only way I believe we'll be bullish is once this low gets taken. right? Then that would be undeniably clear. But I don't want this low. All I want is just equal lows right here. Price comes up, sweeps again, and then at this point in time, I can admit this trade was a little bit more risky. Okay, price came up, swept again, tap it into the 15-minute. We form another bearish SMT, and I was like, okay, like if this 30-second gap invalidates, I'm gonna take this trade again. I'm gonna take this trade again because I believe the drawn liquidity is equal lows if this 30-second validates. But this is where I feel like I hit the gray zone of my model. I feel like I didn't provide enough context. Okay, but this is where I'm gonna come here and say, like, I had conviction on the drawn liquidity. I lowered my risk, and I reevaluated. Okay, and I set conditions. If I lose this trade, I'm getting off. That's how I approached this. I told myself, okay, if I lose this trade, I'm getting off. The reason why I feel like I hit a gray zone is because in all of my trades, I always wait for ES and NQ to correlate. Like, if NQ is ready to be bullish and ES is very close to taking a low, or like we have an SMT, I will take the long. Like, if everything is correlating, ES takes London lows, NQ didn't, but we're tapping into a higher time frame PD rate. We have a key level, higher time frame inversion. Everything is there, time and price is aligned. I'm taking the long. In this occasion, 10 a.m. is opening higher on NQ, and on ES, we're opening lower, sweeping London lows and mitigated weekly opening price. So there is the uncorrelation. So ES is still going lower, and we still have this new week opening price that still hasn't been mitigated right here on ES. So I felt like, again, at the time I wasn't looking at this, but looking back, again, it made sense for ES to go lower here to this new week opening gap at least. But I wasn't looking at that, if I'm being real. I was just looking at NQ. I was like, okay, we have bearish SMT, 10 a.m. is opening higher. We have these equal lows. I don't see price going higher until we have these equal lows. But when we're talking about probabilities, I can always tell myself, well, why did this trade fail? And the answer would be, well, ES swept London lows, and then we mitigated weekly opening price, so I can see price pump from here. And it could have just gone, right? And then I could have just gone stopped out again, and this could have just kept going higher, left these equal lows, right? So that's where I feel like the gray zone is there. That's where I feel like the gray zone is there. But at the same time, you have to understand that I lowered my risk. I have to understand that you have to understand. I have to understand that I lowered my risk, and I had a lot of conviction in this drawn liquidity, right? So again, I am gonna be journaling. I am very transparent with my trades. Again, first trade I risked 350. Second trade I risked 200. I was gonna get off if I lost this trade. Okay, so that's why I told myself, I was like, okay, I do believe we're still bearish. I want this to get mitigated. So pulling up this right here. Once this 30-second got invalidated again, I ended up shorting. Again, I know there's another 30-second down here. I personally didn't care about this 30-second due to the fact that, like, if we're bearish, we're gonna deliver from this one. After we swept this high, we have a bearish SMT. We're inside of the 15-minute. 10 a.m. is opening higher. I want to see a key level get hit first. I want to see the key level get taken first. I know on ES we swept London session lows, but on NQ I want to see a key level as well before we go higher. So once we swept these equal lows, again, I can see price going higher, and that was my target. So I shorted. I went break even right here on discount this entire range. I went break even, and then price ended up delivering to the equal lows. Okay. Again, so that was the drawn liquidity. That was the trade that I ended up taking. I can definitely take accountability and say that was a little bit riskier on the riskier side. So, but it goes to show that NQ is his own asset. Like, NQ is, if there's a clean drawn liquidity, there's a pair of equal lows. And it's like, again, I have enough screen time. I've been trading for a while now, so I have enough screen time where I can say, like, okay, I'm pretty confident in this drawn liquidity, so I need to trust myself. And to me, this was I was very confident in this drawn liquidity. 15-minute gap, 10 a.m. is opening higher, bearish SMT, 30-second inversion. I'm shorting this. Based off of structure, though, how does this trade look? I've seen way better trades, right? Just the quality over quantity of this to me, I feel like is a wake-up call, right? So this trade to me was like, yo, like, make sure you take better trades now, right? So for me, this is like a wake-up call. I see it as like, okay, like, I didn't get lucky, right? You can say maybe I got a little bit lucky on this trade, or maybe not, right? But I can acknowledge, like, I follow my rules. Like, I'm letting the statistics play out, Okay, I believe 10 a.m. was opening higher. Well, not believe, it was literally opening higher. And I believe that we wanted to take out a prominent low. Again, this low was the overall draw on liquidity for me, but I only needed a low hanging fruit, which was equal lows, which is all I wanted. Again, so definitely gonna be journaling this trade. I'm gonna be reviewing it and saying, okay, like, again, for the rest of the week, I gotta make sure everything aligns on both assets. That's why I feel like I hit the gray zone, because usually I trade with both assets aligning, and I feel like one was ready to be bullish, and I'm still shorting on the other one, right? Like I can see NQ being bullish, and I'm still shorting on. I'm sorry, I can see ES being bullish, and I'm still shorting on NQ, right? So it's like, what is the probability on that trade? Not everything is aligning, and it's undeniably clear. So that made me feel like I'm hitting a gray zone. But at the same time, what did I do differently? I lowered my size. I played the discretionary game. And I played the game again. I analyzed the charts and I played the odds. I weighed the odds and I feel like I played them very well. Again, definitely just gotta be a little bit more aware that, okay, like if I'm gonna be discretionary off the jump, I should just be lowering size. And that's exactly what I did. The first trade, I put on my normal size. Second trade, I lowered my size. I just feel like the second trade should have been a little, again, maybe a week ago, or like maybe last week, I probably wouldn't have taken a trade like this. That's why I'm a little bit taken aback, because I'm like, oh, damn, like London lows got taken on ES. I want to be bullish, right? But I still took some shorts, right? So, yeah, again, I'm not perfect. I don't want to say I broke my rules, because I didn't, but I'm just very strict with myself in the way I trade. And doesn't feel like a rule break at all, but it feels like I hit a gray zone. And that is the simple truth. I don't know. I'm just being as real as possible. I'm going to go over my journal, really write this down. I feel like I hit a little bit of a gray zone. I don't think I broke my rules, because I waited for a higher time for PD Ray. We were above the opening price, which was essentially premium. We had a protected high. We had a bearish SMT, and then we had the highest time for inversion. I know the entire leg didn't get inverse, but I had a lot of conviction on the trade, and I feel like I just didn't see it going higher. So I took it. I just took it even with lower size. So again, if I'm weighing all the pros, I have 6 pros again of this trade. I follow all my rules. I lowered size. The only thing is that I would say is ES we had mitigated weekly opening price, and we took all on the lows. So again, very high not high, but that's a reason why I wouldn't take the trade. So yeah, again, enough yapping about it. Again, the more yapping, the more overthinking. But again, so yeah, I'm just gonna journal how I felt. Gonna move on, make sure everything aligns for my next trade. And yeah, overall, happy that I lowered my risk. Happy that I got a fucking dub. Great way to start off the week. Again, when I make these trade recaps, I make them just to be like my authentic self. I just try to be as authentic and as real as possible. Just who I am as a trader, who I am as a person. And yeah, I'm just sharing my mindset. I know some trade recaps are pretty like really straight and forward, and then there's days like this where I'm just fucking yapping. But that's just who I am. You know, if you want to watch the channel, you want to support, cool. If you don't, I understand. I get it. Everybody's in their own different journey. Everybody has their own point of views and perspective, so I respect it all. And I just hope you guys have the same respect and reciprocate that same energy. So, yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys had an amazing trading day. As always, all glory goes to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, I would not be able to do any of this. So I'm very grateful. I'm going to keep pushing forward. This was a day where I learned a lot about myself, a lot about the trading week. And again, it's a great way to start off the trading week. And I learned a lot of how my approach is going to be for the next week, for the rest of the week. Overall, very happy. Let's have an amazing day. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Peace. Let's go.